Salamat Petang. And I'm saying that this is me, RJ Jain. I'm saying that because we're going all the way to Malaysia. A very special guest who's going to be joining us on this episode of Let's Talk About Tech, episode 4 on the Tradepass podcast. We have Budiman Bujang joining us all the way from Malaysia. He's the head of digital strategy and enterprise architecture at Johor Corporation. Did I get all that right? Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Tradepass, for giving me this opportunity today to be joining your podcast together with RG Jane, right?
Yes, yes, I'm Jane. That is right. You got my name
I
right.
actually I read about you. You were like a radio broadcaster before.
Yes, I was a radio presenter for 12 years and now
Uh,
I am with Tradepass and I'm absolutely loving this twist in my career. But you tell us, you're the head of digital strategy and enterprise architecture. How would you describe your job in one line? Have you had any shifts in careers or has it been a steady, consistent growth? What has it been like?
it's pretty hard to explain in one liner because actually the job itself is it's like wearing two hats: digital strategy and enterprise architecture. So in a way, if I were to put it in a one liner, what is digital strategy and enterprise architecture all about is basically looking through the enterprise through integration and collaboration, because everything needs to flow from data, right? Insights and all that. So yeah, integration and collaboration is key towards any enterprise. So that would be my one liner for today.
That is nice. I really like it that you've put it in one line. What's the most exciting aspect of your job? And I'm going to call you Buri. Is that fine? Can
Yeah,
I
yeah,
drop your name?
yeah.
All right. Tell us, what's the most exciting aspect of walking into your workplace every single day?
Um, what's exciting would be, looking at the enterprise, because enterprise as a whole, and especially with enterprise which have tons of subsidiaries and um, multicultural business and all that. So as you see how the business works, how the enterprise actually works, that's what excites me, to see how we can sort of work in synergy between the head company and the rest of the subsidiaries. I mean, when you look into that, then you can see that how these companies can actually talk to each other, how we can actually see insights within this company. So, I mean, one of the challenges that I see from one organization to another is that when you go to a presentation with the board members or the leaders within the company, although you have like 30, 40 systems, applications within the organization, you don't go and present, hold on, let me open up this system to view the dashboard. Hold on, let me view the insights from this HR system. We don't do that. But in the meeting, we just consolidate everything into one platform where, I mean, the big data is a norm nowadays in organization. So how do you consolidate all this so you get one true view of your entire organization? That is the most interesting part.
That's pretty insane, man. Budi, tell us, we are going to be in Malaysia on the 16th and 17th of May 2023, this year, later this year. And it's going to be an incredible data center and cloud infra summit. But, I just like the numbers 16 and 17 because what follows that is 18. And you have over 18 years to build up your career. And that's a really big number. You're almost touching 2 decades. What really fueled your start in digital strategy and enterprise architecture? Like, if you were to give us like the high points of your career, what has been the best part of your 18 years? What would it be?
Um, I mean, throughout, not to see my career, even throughout my life, I've always been passionate about fixing stuffs. I do DIYs myself. Even at my home, I renovate my house myself. So I think it's part and parcel of how I'm built. So I really love to fix issues. So that actually transpires when I'm working in an organization. I love to fix whatever is broken and try to find remedies for it. So the most interesting path in my career would be when I started off as a consultant with SAP, and then I tend to look issues where how we can resolve finance issues against the business, and then from there it gives me an idea of how to fix the organization as a whole, not only finance. So the more I look into that, I try to look into infrastructure, how it integrates with business. Everything needs to map with business needs. And technology comes in is where my forte kicks in, where I've been involved in technology since I was young. I first used computer when I was 7 years old, and I have a programming background and all that. So I would try to marry my experience with business. So the more I learn about business, and one of the reasons which actually fueled me to take up my MBA is to learn more about business. So when you have these two strengths, right, business and technology, that's where the digital era actually contributes towards that. You can actually complement the business through the needs and the use of technology. So by using technology, you can not only do things faster. I mean, you can embed accuracy inside it, and you can embed more insights towards it. You have more visibility out of everything that you are doing.
That's fantastic. I like the fact that you've married technology and business, and that's exactly how you've grown your career in itself. You also said you're a fixer, which I really like. Have you ever considered an alternate career in fixing, like, say, relationships? You said you can fix anything.
Relationships is you are dealing with humans, so there are certain limits of control that you can take, right? Because emotions is something pretty hard. Even one key takeaway when I was doing my MBA, right? One of the hardest thing to change is culture, because culture relates to people. But I tend to see what is there that you can control. So the ones that you can control is through digital means. You can optimize processes. You can optimize the cost. There's a lot of things that you can embed technology into fixing stuffs in an organization. Even people, you have a faster phone, you can do much more faster video calls or things like that. But there's to a certain extent that you can fix relationship, but there's a kind of a limitless extent that you can fix an organization.
Very cool. I mean, I really like how you brought that back. Now, you're 14 years in leadership capacities, and you have such a unique experience in enterprise strategy, in IT, in finance, and operations, and consulting across varied industry segments to actually transform and strategically, like, sort of position your company, like you said, into a cost effective and a super efficient organization. And how you do that is, of course, by generating enough ROI. So, 2023 is all about businesses coming back after the pandemic. And what have you done at Johor that has really put it out there? What is the strategy that you're looking at, considering you have so much of cross industry and cross functional domain experience?
Most of my talks and roundtables have been emphasizing around enterprise architecture, something which is lacking in most of the organizations that I see. So, enterprise architecture is just a blueprint. It's merely a blueprint of your company, and it encompasses digital means as well as business needs. So, if you have designed a blueprint which is quite robust, right? You can actually oversee the entire layers of your company, the
Sure.
organization. So that's the first thing that anyone should start off. And from there you build the capacity, you're fixing the gaps. So in Johor, that's the first thing that I did. I joined J Corp. We call Johor Corporation J Corp in Malaysia. So
Oh, that's so
I
cool.
joined J Corp. Yeah, I joined J Corp in May last year. So the first thing that I did was to propose the first iteration of enterprise architecture, which is to consolidate all the core functionalities, not only in J Corp but as well as the investicos. So we call our subsidiaries investicos because J Corp is an investing holding company. So the first thing that I emphasize on is the core applications, be it HR, finance, securities, and all that. So by designing the first layer of enterprise architecture for JCorp, we can see not only we can get cost savings through the license consolidation, but at the same time we are benefiting from the integration between the head company as well as the investicos. So the target is, of course, we need to align with the vision of the leaders within JCorp, and the vision is to achieve 100% decision making through analytics. So everything is churned out through analytics. So what comes in mind is how well do you architect your data ecosystem? How does the data flows? How can we get the data fast enough so that you can analyze your data in almost real time? So the main focus is integration and collaboration. Back to my one liner just now, what digital strategy and enterprise architecture is all about.
That's fantastic. I mean, real time analysis is a big trend as far as data is concerned in 2023. I've been reading so much on it. But, tell us, Jacob, that's how you call the company, and that's a very cool name of doing it, cool way of doing it. Now, you guys focus on creation and distribution of wealth, and you operate in four core sectors: agribusiness, wellness, healthcare, food and restaurant, and real estate and infrastructure. Now, as head of digital strategy here, considering there's so many different verticals, how do you use data analytics and cloud to your advantage? Because that seems to be the big buzzword of major organizations, getting it strategically right, like you said, with real-time data analysis and using your cloud to your advantage. But how specifically do you do it?
Well, back to the EA. I just call enterprise architecture EA. One of the layer is technology layer. So at J Corp, our direction for digital transformation program is that we are cloud first. Anything that we do, we will sort of leverage on cloud rather than on-prem. So I mean, I'm proud to say that Jacob is almost 100%. I mean, more than 90% of our servers is on cloud. It's just that our AD server is currently on-prem. So we are moving that on cloud. So basically, I mean, towards the mid of this year, we are 100% on cloud. So I mean, aside from AD, all our application is either SaaS or it's being hosted in either Amazon or Azure. And how do I the question is data analytics and cloud platform to my advantage, right?
Yes.
Yep. So by having all your servers, all your applications residing in cloud, I mean, the first thing to do is to build a data lake. So the data lake that we are building right now are creating pipelines so that we can sort of ingest data from all these applications. And the way I view it, even throughout our investigos, we are ingesting data into this data lake so that we can build the analytics platform on top of it. So in JCorp, we are using Power BI as our dashboard. So everything is embedded within the data lake. The pipelines is embedded within the data lake. The transformation happens in the data lake. So I mean, gone are the days that we do flat files uploading. Everything is ingested directly into our data lake. So the beauty of cloud is that everything is hosted online. You don't have to worry about capacity. You don't have to worry about memories and all that. So everything is maintained in the cloud ecosystem. And having said that, some organizations have this fear of putting the data on cloud. That's where the governance and policies comes into play. So the governance and policy needs to be strengthened up by having a good cybersecurity model that you have or a framework. For us in JCOB, we are embedding zero trust policy into, I mean, zero trust framework into our cybersecurity framework as well. So that's just how we do it in JCOB.
Well, that's fantastic. You have experience, Bodhi, in enterprise architecture, which you call EA, enterprise performance management, using performance analytics and reporting. There's something called bolt on software. And I don't know so much about this. So how do you break it down for the layman? How do you use these best fit IT strategies, policies, and procedures? And what exactly is bolt on?
Um, to me, I would say bolt on is something that you don't have to design or customize and build it by using a programming language. So, for instance, like I mentioned just now, for our analytics, we are using Power BI. So, I would say Power BI is a bolt on software because it's a tool that we can just use, and all the features are there for us to build an extensive dashboard. So at the moment, back to the previous question that you asked just now, Jane, that on cloud, we are building dashboards on cloud right now. We are ingesting data into the cloud. Everything is consolidated into our big data, our data lake. And of course, the next thing moving forward, I mean, most of these bolt-on softwares are capable enough to drive the business. So I don't see why we need to go to something which is pretty much customized or pretty much needs to be built from scratch, because there's tons of bolt-on softwares out there in the market, and even under Microsoft Marketplace or Azure or AWS Marketplace, you can see tons of features, applications that you can bolt on top of those bolt-on software. So you can actually start small and continue to enhance it, continue to develop something more out of that. Like for example, our dashboard right now, we are not only focusing only merely dashboard to analyze the existing data, we are also ingesting third-party data in so that we can analyze our data further. And then, by ingesting those data in, we can create a model for AI ML, machine learning, as well as predictive analysis for our future data, which is coming in the future. So that gives us an insight of what's going to happen in the future based on the third-party data that we are ingesting in.
That's fantastic. So, third party data you're ingesting in, and plus you have a lot of bolt on softwares that you rely on. Clearly, you know your game and you've been doing it really well and seeing what is best fit for the organization. Now, moving a little bit from the organization to the Malaysian government, I mean, there's been a rampant digitization in your country. The Malaysian government has been capitalizing on Industry 4.0 through data center and cloud as well. So, my question here is, with the public sector having launched its own cloud computing service, which is called the MyGov Cloud or MyGov Cloud in 2022. How supportive is the Malaysian government overall towards data center and cloud? Like, I'm sure since you have 18 years of experience here, you would know, how the government is truly supportive of organizations and, public organizations, private and public, both going the cloud and, data analytics way.
Yep. Yeah, I think the government is driving this quite aggressively. As you can see, most of the big players have opened up their data center here in Malaysia. I think AWS just launched a few weeks ago. In fact, I think last month, AWS launched their data center in Malaysia, and Azure is launching their data center in Malaysia this year as well. That's what I heard. And having said that, we have MDEC in Malaysia, which is driving the digital economy within Malaysia, and they do offer like analytics course and such to citizens of Malaysia, so that they can equip the citizens of Malaysia to have capabilities in analytics. So I believe there are support in Malaysia to drive this analytics and cloud transformation for organizations. It's just that more towards awareness and adoption, and emphasize more on how their data can be secured, and reliability is one of the most important thing that needs to be assured.
We're a strategic partner of DCCI Malaysia, happens to be MDEC, so that's pretty cool. Thanks for giving us that insight into how the government is also actively and aggressively supporting you guys. But the country's data center market overall is forecasted to grow at around 7% during the 2022 to 2027 period, and it's set to reach around $2 billion by 2027. So, is Malaysia really a data center and cloud hub? And in 2023, how big is that becoming? And especially for people who want to, take this up as a career, how encouraging is this sign?
Yeah, Malaysia is growing in terms of being the data center hub because of its strategic location. So I would say that, yeah, Malaysia is able to achieve this, and as we mentioned just now from the previous question, that Malaysia is fully supporting those big giants to open up data centers here in Malaysia, and is actually benefiting all the organizations within Malaysia. And one, because of the unstable currency rates that we have right now, so that would come as a benefit to Malaysians if we have the data center here. I mean, the local policies and governance will take into place, and that will actually make do of all these fears about my data is on another country. Even though we have those NDA in play, with all the security governance in place, and I mean, it doesn't do justice to some of these mindsets which is still there, which is exists in Malaysia, that the fear of having their sensitive data out there outside of Malaysia, where if it's within Malaysia itself, it's within our control. So by having it in Malaysia, we have tons of companies and big, large organizations which will be looking forward to move to a cloud platform. And in fact, if you can see now, the trend is moving towards technologies. We have this ChatGPT, which is kind of a stir of the moment right now with everyone, and everyone tries to embed this technology within their system, within their bought-on system, just to have these features in. So the appreciation of technology is there. So and the challenges of having on-prem servers has become a norm towards organization, having a large team just to maintain it, having that these tons of opex which is being tied to sustain those servers on prem. That's where Malaysia can grow as a hub for data centers, and having these countries as our neighbors like Thailand, Indonesia, Singapore, and all that. Of course, they want some sort of redundancy. So Malaysia is one area that they can invest on to help boost the data center economy within Malaysia.
Fantastic. I mean, with respect to ChatGPT, since you've told us that it's been trending all across, it is the current buzzword of the year. Where
Yeah.
do you see ChatGPT and its competition, from various other big players actually fit into data center and cloud? Like, what is going to be the biggest fit there?
Um, for Chat GPT in I mean, if it's a cloud solution, I don't see a much. I mean, I haven't seen much use of it as of now. But if you're talking about in the operational matters right now in an organization, yes, it does contribute a lot of things. We did explore recently on how to embed Chat GPT with Excel, so that actually helps a lot, especially the finance department when they are doing a lot of these complex calculations, a lot of adjustments within the Excel sheets. That ChatGPT actually helps a lot. We ran a few demo with our finance team, and we were laughing about it. And oh my God, ChatGPT can do this in Excel. So in terms of our daily work, yeah, it does do justice to our operation. In terms of data center, it might have a lot of features which we can leverage on, especially on perhaps troubleshooting, finding out more information about the data within the servers. One is embedded in, then you can see all these features comes in, all these positive things comes in, which benefits the organization. And as ChatGPT is now being embedded into Microsoft tools, because ChatGPT is under Microsoft anyway, part of the owners are Microsoft. You can see that ChatGPT is being embedded in most of Microsoft tools, and in no time that you can see those features will be embedded in the cloud platform. So once it's there, then all these thousands of services which is there in the market, I mean, in no time, people who are using these services, be it Azure services or AWS services, I mean, rather than not knowing on how to use those services, they will get to know how to use those services.
Fantastic. So it definitely does fit into the plan. But speaking about trends, the three trends to impact the data center sector in 2023. I've been reading up quite a bit on it, and I did see hyperscale data centers. There's new infrastructure to support ChatGPT, which we spoke about, hybrid clouds, automation, data centers to be ready for global warming, sustainability, greater virtualization. But according to you, what are the top three trends? And if you can explain every trend in one line as to how 2023 is going to see that like boom in a big way.
To me, by having in cloud, you have all these features on integration. So automation is quite a key for any cloud providers to have in terms of opening up the connectivity towards any platforms, not only a specific platform, but any platforms. I mean, the API is ready to be connected. We used to call it like ODBC connectors and all that, but nowadays the buzzword is API connectors. So that actually translates into automations. So, like I said just now on our previous questions, gone are the days where we manually load the data in. We want to be able to talk to the source system directly, and that is where the real-time analysis comes into play. So that's on automation. So the other one would be visualization. So with automations, then your visualization is ready because you can analyze your data faster. In when you analyze it faster, then decision making is faster as well. So you get this real-time data in. The organizations can make a split decision with the data that they have in real time. And moreover, if you have predictive analysis comes into play, you have all this machine learning comes into play, which can gives you suggestions and which can read your data and interpolate it for you. Then organization is there. They are at a playing game where they have data faster than their competitors. So visualization and analytics is one of the key factors that we focus on cloud. And having said that, hyperscaler is one of it. So as more data comes in, um, the cloud platform, the cloud provider should be able to size up the servers in real time as well. As more data comes in, especially during month-end activities and year-end activities in any organization, you have tons of data comes in. You have tons of users accessing those data, analyzing those data. If it's not hyperscale enough, then you still face issues like how you are during your on-prem days, where you have memory overload, we have CPU overload, things like that. So hyperscale is the answer for that. Yeah, the servers are able to be scaled up accordingly, according to the needs, according to the traffic. So these are the three things I would say the main focus, not only for JCorp, as well as for any organizations that were to embark on their cloud journey.
Fantastic. Now, Gartner Inc. forecasts that in 2023, worldwide public cloud spending will grow 20.7% to a total of $591.8 billion, dollars, up from $490.3 billion dollars in 2022. So, moving to the cloud, and we've discussed this over this podcast, is no longer an option for governments or organizations. What are the top three cloud computing trends in 2023?
Top three trends would be low code, no code. That's the first thing because
Yes.
they want to get something out with the cheapest solution and with the shortest time. So some people think that low code is not that robust. The answer is no. That things are getting better nowadays. Even when we build something using Power Apps, Microsoft Power Apps, if you are on an in a Microsoft ecosystem, this comes for free. So we are building mobile apps using the existing tools that we have, and we no longer rely on programmers to hire a programming team just to do this because it's sort of a user friendly, I would say, and especially if you have that programming background, this really helps for you to build a simple mobile app for your organization. So we are building something like a fleet organizer right now. We have tons of vehicles right now in JCorp, which is unutilized. So we want to monetize this rather than have them park in our parking bays, right? So we are starting to explore how can we build those mobile apps in Power Apps, and in fact, it's doable. So we don't have to invest on those Java developers, mobile app developers to do this because the platform is already there, and maybe enhancement along the way in the future might need certain customization that, but we will cross the bridge when we get there. But as a start, it's there. So another one is the AI/ML portion. I think I've been emphasizing on this pretty much. Machine learning. I mean, ChatGPT. Why is it so strong and powerful? Because it has tons of data that it can learn from. So same goes with the organizations because data is like oil. The more you refine it, the more it becomes valuable, right? So in an organization, don't let the data sit inside this designated system. Consolidate it, bring it together, especially from various business functions. There might be something that you can map together and bring out some justification towards it, especially like HR and finance, investment and strategies within the organization. Bring it together, map it out, perform an analysis, write some algorithms so that you can learn your data yourself, and then start to ingesting third-party data in. That's how AI/ML will come into play, and how you can see this data, these insights, which can actually benefit the organization. And the other one is, I would say, the multi-hybrid cloud that we have. One is, although they have multi-redundancy within one platform, but there are certain services that you don't see amongst each of these cloud providers. So it's back to your needs statements of the organization, of the business needs. It reflects back to what do you want to achieve, what do you want to build, and for safety measures, governance, securities comes into play. Multi-redundancy, multi-tenant. That's where we try to consider what best fits your organization.
Fantastic. Well, those are a whole bunch of really interesting pointers: low code, no code, AI, ML, powered cloud, and so much more. But your final shout out to this absolutely interesting event where all the trends in cloud and data center is going to come out. We are going to be there. Tradepass is going to be there on the 16th and 17th of May in Kuala Lumpur, and we're very excited about it. How excited are you to be meeting your counterparts and coming in and enjoying the flavor of that particular month with so many of your, like, brains from the country coming together. How do you feel?
I feel very excited. Even the last event that I attended last year, it actually opens up some new ideas because we are sharing ideas. Not only we are sharing ideas, we are sharing the best practices. We are sharing our gaps and how we overcome it, how they overcame it in their organizations. And some of these organizations is quite similar to us. For example, like healthcare. KPJ is under JCOP. We have 28 hospitals that we need to integrate with. So there are some best practices out there that I can learn from. And this is what I'm looking forward to. The more ways to integrate data, the more ways that we can leverage on the cloud platform, and what are the services that we can tap on to grow our business together. So not only, I mean, especially with another business, another organization which works similarly like JCorp, that's where I'm much more interested to know how they are doing it and how we are doing it, and try to see what are the gaps.
That's interesting, man. I mean, at your position, I guess it's a bird's eye view and an eagle's eye view of everything that's happening in your market. And that's exactly what you want to find out more about. Assess your competition, see who you can, tie up with, look at other solution providers. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about how, DCCI Malaysia is going to come together. I think it's going to be fantastic with great minds like yours and such young and vivacious and vibrant energy. It's going to be great. So I'm really looking forward to it as well. But, just to end this podcast on a super fun note, I've been asking all my guests from different countries, wherever we are going. I mean, whether it is Kenya or whether it's Malaysia or whether it's Singapore, wherever we're going, or the Philippines, we're trying to find out, what are the top three things to do for people who are going to probably come from outside to Malaysia. So, what are the top three things, according to you, in 2023 that everybody has to experience, in your country?
In Malaysia would be foods, man. I mean, foods is like something that everyone is craving for in Malaysia. So you can get it anywhere in KL. Be it nasi lemak, or roti canai, or teh tarik. I mean, those are the things that tourists or any guest that's coming to Malaysia needs to try on. And of course, the next thing is shopping. So we have tons of malls here in Malaysia. It's everywhere. Everywhere you go, there are malls. So yeah, go nuts with shopping in Malaysia. I think the third one would be, I mean, the city itself. It's breathtaking if you have a walk at night in KL. I mean, I would suggest them to walk, just have a walk, and we have these Beamer scooters that they can rent on at night, so they can just circle around Malaysia and enjoy the view in Malaysia, yeah, in Kuala Lumpur per se.
That's fantastic, dude. Like, you're talking about food, shopping, and a beautiful cityscape. I mean, I don't think we can ask for better. And of course, the meeting of so many minds at the DCCI Malaysia Summit, 16th and 17th May. I'm going to see you there, Budi. I think it's going to be super interesting, very intriguing, extremely fascinating, because so many different people are coming together under one roof. And we're going to find out what are the latest trends and solutions when it comes to cloud and data. So I've had such a fantastic conversation with you. Really looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much for joining us on the Trade Pass podcast. Is there a final shout out that you'd like to give anybody who wants to pursue, a career in data and cloud?
Not only on data and cloud, I think the technology evolves so much faster right now. Things are so much faster. I mean, especially in digital, right? We need to evolve faster as well. We need to be faster than those machines out there, so that we can, up to pace on whatever technology which is evolving right now. So that's one of my last 2 cents for everyone.
Fantastic. Well, your last 2 cents have been extremely valuable, and all of it, in fact. Thank you very much. How do you say goodbye? You did teach me how to say salamat petang, which is good afternoon. How do you say goodbye when you're in KL?
Goodbye would be, usually we just say bye, but the right word would be, I think, selamat petang as well, or selamat tinggal.
All right. So
But
salamat
how do you
tinggal.
do the
Is that
airport,
what you
right?
said?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to stick to salamat. Thank you so much. We will see you in Malaysia soon. Have a
Yeah.
wonderful day, and keep that big smile on.
Yep. Looking forward for the event. All right. Thanks. Thanks, Jane.